What's up, girlies? Welcome back to my channel where I post whatever I want, whenever I want, because I don't know what consistency is. Today we're talking about Trisha Paytas and how her 2026 New Year's resolution is to run for Congress. Yes, Miss
We don't actually need gravity.
wants to be an elected official for the House of Representatives.
We just don't need it.
Not only do I want to talk about Trisha's soft-launched political campaign, but I also want to talk about her fans' reaction to it as well, as I think it's a good example of like this wider phenomenon that's happening in both fandom spaces but also just on social media in general. If you're watching this, you probably already know who Trisha Paytas is. But in short, she is a 37-year-old YouTuber, podcaster, actress, Broadway performer, ASMR person, model, mommy vlogger, singer, mukbanger, and of course, a chicken nugget. She has been on the internet for 19 years now, and for basically her entire internet career, she has been a huge troll. Trish has done things such as acting dumber than she actually is for attention, saying a vampire is stalking her, and marrying a cardboard cutout of Brad Pitt in Las Vegas. Which honestly is really funny of her. I can't even lie about that. But besides that, she has also done a lot of very controversial and problematic things just for the sake of online attention. She has been racist, homophobic, anti-Semitic, ableist, and has supposedly made problematic OF content as well. There are numerous other topics we can talk about, but the point is, she has had a very controversial past. But people seemingly have forgotten about that because she has stated that her trolling days are in the past. But are they really? Is that really truly something you can just leave behind and never touch again? A few years back, she started to go to therapy, focusing more on her own mental health, and she also started calling out other content creators for being problematic as well. But she truly changed her online presence once she found out that she was pregnant with her first child after years of struggling with infertility. Her brand basically got flipped upside down, and she became this unproblematic queen who just loves her children and husband. After this, fans started to act like her past didn't matter anymore because she changed and apologized for it. And while yes, she has apologized for certain specific situations and continues to apologize in general about her past to this day, that shouldn't be used as like an automatic pass to be excused for everything she has done. To some, Trisha's recent change felt strategic, and her apologies could feel too vague or seemingly only made because she was getting more backlash than she initially thought she was gonna have. She has just said so many weird things for the sake of trolling and has also been caught lying about topics before. So I don't fault people for not forgiving her, especially minorities who were directly targeted when it came to her more problematic actions. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm glad she has changed for the better after starting a family. I'm truly happy for her that she found somebody she's so in love with, because that seemed to have been her wish since forever. Her changing, even if it's supposedly just for a rebranding or to save her image, is far better than her staying in her old destructive ways. Both because it's so much better for her own mental health, but also because she is now not actively pushing false or dangerous rhetoric just for attention. The way she is now does far less damage than before. She has even been able to show growth and change consistently enough to get mainstream attention and praise, to the point where she has become like this safe person to collaborate with when it comes to major brands and artists. She has appeared in Katy Perry's music video, she had an Arby's commercial, she modeled for a Mac campaign, she has been on Broadway, and she has interviewed people at the New York City Wicked premiere. Trisha has talked to Jeff Goldblum. I am so jealous. It's not even funny. That man is just so... Anyway, I'm not here to chronicle her whole entire internet career because we would be here forever, but I do think it's important to lay out a baseline of understanding when it comes to Trisha. She used to be extremely problematic, has recently turned a new leaf, and is now more popular than ever, to the point that she's basically endorsed by mainstream brands. And this positive light she's currently in makes it a lot more easy for people to just look past her history and just focus on the momentum she currently has, which also definitely had an effect on how her soft launch was received. Which brings us to her actual videos about wanting to run for Congress. She initially talked about it in 3 separate videos: her 2026 manifestations video on YouTube, in a TikTok, and on her Just Trish podcast. Her YouTube video is very casual. It's just her sitting in her car eating Chick-fil-A. She talks about 2026 being her year because she is an 8 queen slash witch. 2 + 6 is 8, so it's the 8 year. Love that we're forgetting the other 2 to get this to work for her, but like, doesn't that just sum up watered down spiritualism online anyway? Even besides that, Trisha has had many spiritual and religious phases throughout the years, some which stick around longer than others. Combined with the fact that manifesting and numerology are pretty popular right now, for me that already doesn't really come across as genuine, but more like a way for her to use relevant topics in her videos for relatability. I know I'm very cynical about these things, I'm sorry. So before anything else, she promotes her new podcast episode where she talks more about running for Congress. Then Trish gets into how grateful she is for all the opportunities she has this year and for the health of her family. She's also manifesting things like traveling more and going on Dancing with the Stars, because then she can somehow do a Vegas residency like JLo and have her kids on stage with her during New Year's Eve. And like, honestly, that's exactly the stuff that I want Trisha to be manifesting. Stay in entertainment, not politics. Like, yes, Trisha, try to get onto the White Lotus. I have no idea what that is, but please focus on that. She differentiates between the hate she got when she used to be a huge troll and purposely antagonized people online, and what she had to deal with during her pregnancies, stating that the first was warranted, but that when it came to her pregnancies, people were just hating on her for the sake of hating, and that it wasn't truly directed towards her. I am actually happy to see her bring up her problematic past and seemingly realizing that she was in the wrong for that. I'm not saying that it's good enough. I'm not the person to decide that, but to me it seems like at least a good step in the right direction. Finally, around the 14-minute mark, Trisha talks about how she wants to be more philanthropic, and that she wants to run to be elected for the House of Representatives in California.
And finally, I would love to be more philanthropic. I talked about in the podcast today, a little spoiler alert, I guess, is I don't mean it as a joke, and I know it sounds so crazy, like to me too, but I think it's like so doable, is watch the podcast tomorrow and I'll go more into detail about it, but I really would love to run for House of Representatives here in California. We have 52, and I would really love to run for it. They have an election this year, November 3rd, 2026, and I do have some bills I would like to present to Congress, so I'm working on that. I really want to be able to like truly make a difference, because I see so much horrible stuff happening in the world and right here in California as well, and I'm like, oh, there's nothing I can do. No, there's something I can do. I can run for office, and I wholeheartedly like really wanting to give my all for that.
And that's it. Just about a minute of her talking in a 24-minute video, and that's her soft launching her run for Congress, I guess. Next, she explains how she wants to start helping people, either by organizing something herself or helping out with other organizations, which is great, honestly. I wish more rich influencers would be doing that. Preferably without milking it for content or dangling prizes above poor people's heads. Looking at you, Mr. Reese. I love that she wants to use her status and wealth for good, and I think non-profit work would actually be far better of an option for her than what she's currently set her eyes on. She claims to be serious about running for the House of Representatives in her district, but to me it just doesn't feel feel that way. Her announcement was just smashed into a video where she rambled about what she wants from this year while eating chicken. Her bid for Congress doesn't get mentioned in this video again either. She continues to talk about wanting to help people and possibly becoming a foster parent in the far future. And she just talks about her entertainment related goals again as well. She's probably so vague to get her audience to watch her new podcast episode, which is linked in her description, which is fine. But when it comes to actual serious topics like politics, it just doesn't feel genuine and makes it all just seem clickbaity. Then we get to her TikTok video, where she continues by saying she's currently Googling how to run for Congress in 2026.
Currently Googling how to run for Congress in California 2026.
I don't know, it just feels so unserious. Trisha mentions that she will need about 40 to 60 signatures to qualify as a write-in and wonders if she can get those signatures online. For a normal candidate, this might be a normal thing to wonder. It feels weird to me because she has such an intense following behind her. Who would definitely try to get her those signatures even if she didn't outright ask them to do that. I could easily see people just signing it as a joke or whatever, or for the simple fact that it would be iconic. Trisha is definitely online enough to know that her fans are capable of acting this way, so that's why it just feels a bit iffy in my opinion. While eating some mac and cheese, she mentions that this very serious idea to become a politician came to her in a very vivid dream or vision.
The idea of me being representative for the state of California came to me in a dream, in a vision, if you will. It's so vivid to me.
And perhaps for most of y'all that statement doesn't ring any alarm bells and it's just fine. But for someone like me, who recognizes that kind of thinking from times when my mental health wasn't that great, it just kind of sounds not great and kind of concerning. Especially combined with the fact that previously Trisha has mentioned on multiple occasions that she has experienced psychosis and she has said that she is schizophrenic as well. Now, she could be lying about that, but she has said it, and that just does muddy the water when it comes to figuring out if she's being serious or not about this. She finally mentions one point she wants to run on.
First things first, start in California. My main goal is to make it adult work not be legal until you're 25.
And I think it's a great idea. Men are gross, and specifically look for adult content surrounding 18-year-olds because of the fact that they're so young. It seems to basically serve as bait content for pedos, and I don't think that should be endorsed or promoted. Because there are like multiple examples of girls who've opened an OF account on their 18th birthday and so earned millions from it, just because so many creeps were waiting for the moment that they turned legal. Which also might imply that the first content they posted was made before they were even 18, and that makes it all just the more sinister. I have no problems with sex workers. I think if you're an adult and are completely sure you want to work in that industry, go for it. But I also don't think it should be glamorized and promoted on places like TikTok, where kids and teenagers can see these workers flaunt how rich they are from the easy money they make from their jobs. You can't put the blame just on those types of videos, but it has gone to a point where some girls will immediately opt for adult work when they're 18 or sometimes younger, before trying anything else, because they think it's just an easy way to make a quick buck due to all the content and OF promos they've seen online. But back to Trisha's video, she says she has a big enough social following to have a chance to make it into Congress. Look, while I'm glad she has shared at least one point she wants to run on, that just simply isn't enough to justify getting her political power in California simply because her fans will vote for her no matter what. We just need more than one idea. Here, Trisha also mentions that she spirals when she sees dark stuff.
Alright, Trish. Enough just like shutting it out, being ignorant. A lot of it was protecting my mental health. Like, I do spiral when I see really dark and depressing things, but
getting a hold of my mental health means being able to not only deal with my emotions and spirals and triggers, I need to start dealing with like the world.
She truly seems a lot more stable than in the past, which I love for her, but despite that, would she really be ready for this responsibility she would get as a member of Congress? She would probably have to deal with a lot of intense issues as a representative, and she wouldn't be able to just tap out when it gets too much for her, like she did on Big Brother or with Frenemies. People would be looking to her for actual help with their situations. They wouldn't be looking for her to make multiple videos when she spirals and needs an outlet for her emotions. Which, of course, as a YouTuber, is fine to do, but you can't realistically do that where you have to deal with other people's problems, you know? Then we get to her campaign slogan, California could be good.
And I really think my slogan for running will just be like, California could be good. It could be good.
What was that?
I mean, it sure could be. But that just doesn't really have a punch to it, does it? It again just doesn't feel completely serious or sincere, in my opinion. I think it's wonderful that she wants to fight for a better future for her children, but it still doesn't feel like it's something truly serious beyond it just being a sudden interest of hers. And at the end of this very educational and very serious video about her researching how to get into Congress, she talks about mac and cheese and what Moses is making for dinner.
My kids' leftover mac and cheese is like one of my favorite snacks. Moses is making a dinner that smells really good, but this just also looked really good. Any advice on this, let me know. I'm literally just Googling, but that's where it starts. It starts with a Google.
Currently Googling how this is supposed to feel completely genuine or sincere to anyone outside of her core fan base. Moving on to the podcast episode.
I would maybe like to run for Congress.
Okay, what?
Yeah.
This might be the most chronically online, brain rot way to react to somebody saying they want to run for Congress. I'm guessing that in the timeline this is the first time she ever mentions anything about it, but even then they have to look up how many seats there are for California in the House of Representatives.
I think I can do at least a representative, like a House of Representative thing.
Okay.
We get 2 here in California, or is there multiple because we're a bigger state?
How many?
It's pretty big. That's why I think we had Pelosi and another one. We had 2.
So 2 senators per state. How many representatives?
California has 52
Yeah.
seats in the House of Representatives.
Oh, okay. That's what I want. I think I want that one.
I feel like for House of Representatives, there's an election, right?
Yes, and I'm serious. I think I'm going to try and run. I just got to look into it more. I haven't fully looked into it yet. That was my resolution, so I'm starting today. But I think it's doable. When does the next election? Because this is my goal, and I think it's my own goal I need to achieve this year. And I'm so serious.
2026.
I don't know, it just feels like basic information you would already be aware of if you're actually serious about running. She also says that running for Congress is her only goal for 2026, which contradicts what she was saying in that YouTube video that I'm pretty sure she recorded after this podcast. Here she mentions again how she wants to use her social media presence to be voted in. But isn't it also the problem here? There's just this chance people wouldn't necessarily vote for Trisha because of the platform she's running on, but because she's Trisha from the internet. Here she also mentions how she wants the laws to be changed, that you need to be 25 and over to do adult work. They also talk about how 25 is the age you have to be allowed to promote alcohol. And I think that's actually a great point to bring up. If 18-year-olds aren't mature enough to be promoting alcohol, then they definitely also shouldn't be able to work in the adult industry either. Besides that, she just reiterates how she wants a better future for her children and how she wants to make a change by running for Congress because she just doesn't want to give up hope.
I think there's stupider people in Congress than me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you clocked that.
You know?
Well, you don't have to look very far to see that she's definitely right about that. Younger and more qualified people should be in places of political power instead of all these
Be nice. I'm finding it.
geriatrics. However, is Trisha really the right person to elect for this change? My opinion is that she isn't, and here's why. America is currently in a very tumultuous state, and with how the country is currently being run, it's basically an authoritarian dictatorship We're just seeing so many insane things happening right now. The increasing brutality from ICE, obstruction of justice, cover-ups, the hostile takeover of Venezuela, and threats of doing it to other countries as well. And despite all of that, our Democratic representatives, who are supposedly against all of this, aren't doing shit. It just keeps happening and no real pushback is being made. We need new politicians who will actually work for the people, know what they're doing, and are educated and knowledgeable about political topics. And this might sound really harsh, but do we really want to elect someone like Trisha right now when we aren't even sure if she's fully qualified for the job? In my opinion, we are just in a too serious make or break moment in time to just be voting somebody in because you're a fan of them for being entertaining online. Trisha being convinced that she can do this due to a vision she had is one thing, but her fans' reactions is a whole different topic to unpack here. Her comments are full of people who are supporting her with memes and reaction pics, saying stuff like "fuck it, you have my vote, queen," or saying she's gonna be the next world ruler.
What? Oh. Okay.
Can we just take a step back here for a second? Because that's an insane reaction, right? You want to support somebody looking for political power because of what? Because she was able to manifest her other dreams? Let's not forget that she's rich and notorious, so it's so much easier for her to reach her goal and dreams than somebody who is poor and doesn't have millions of followers online. You know, one topic she wants to run on and nothing else. We aren't voting for the mayor of Floptropica here. This is a real life election. Honestly, like any other fandom, her fans will support her no matter what, and probably just vote for her for the vibes. Trisha's fans are excited when she does something extravagant or bizarre because that's just what they expect from her. She is known for following her dreams and having these over-the-top ideas, no matter how weird they look to anybody else. Making fantasy ASMR videos, having a whole-ass Beetlejuice bedroom, or remaking the Bet On It music video on location. They will eat it up every time. And honestly, so will I from time to time. I will take a nibble. Her music is pretty fun. She has some bops. So I'm honestly not surprised that when Trisha talks about running for Congress, they give her just the same reaction and energy they do for any of her other ideas. Which is probably also why her podcast co-host reacted like that.
Okay, what?
Yeah.
They just go along with her because it's seen as just all entertainment. But what I'm trying to say is, even with serious topics like this, seemingly her fans would support her without thinking it through more. Like any fandom, she has been put on a pedestal, and people will love her no matter what she does. So even though to me, she might be too controversial to be running for Congress in this current political climate, they either seemingly don't care or think her past comments and stunts aren't relevant enough to bring up for this. People can change, and Trisha has been doing so much better and seems so much happier and stable in life. But that just doesn't immediately erase somebody's past, as it could subconsciously still have influence on current behaviors. Again, we don't know anything about her campaign or what she wants to do besides making adult work 25 plus. We don't know if she wants to run on any other points that will benefit the people of California. We don't even know what political party she's affiliated with, or if she's gonna go in as a third party, which might be actually important to know because back when Trump was first running for president, she was supporting his election and vilifying immigrants and people of color. The video has been deleted since then, and she has apologized for it, saying that she only did it for views, attention, and money. But like, I don't know, that just seems like a very weak excuse to show support for racist ideologies, even if you're just quote-unquote trolling. And that's not the only thing you can bring up either. In recent years, she has shown support for Israel. During the frenemies era, she was also being anti-Semitic, and she was fetishizing Jewish people as well. I think there's this one clip where she pretends to be anti-Zionist, while in my opinion, she's just being ironic.
There go Palestinians. I'm on your side too. I'm on your side more, actually.
That's not going to help you with your Israeli TikToks.
Oh yeah, it's really.
Which also just shows that you can't trust her views on face value. Because of things like that, you just can't be sure if she's being authentic and stands behind her words, or if she's trolling and hiding what she's really thinking. It's as if she changes affiliations and beliefs on a whim just for views and opportunities, and that she switches sides if her own views aren't aligned with the majority of her viewers, seemingly to pander towards them. So are you sure you want to endorse somebody who's been a Zionist, anti-Semitic, racist, ableist, and a supposed Trump supporter in the past, when you're not even sure if she's gonna propose any more ideas that you might align with or not? Again, this isn't Floptropica. This is real life. Why are people not seeing that? It just reminds me a little bit too much of how Trump was elected in the first place.
No. In the sense that
In the beginning of his political campaign, he wasn't being taken seriously, and people thought it would just be funny if a celeb would run for president. And look where we are now. I'm definitely not saying that Trisha Paytas is the same as Epstein's close friend and 34 times convicted felon Donald Trump, but I am saying that we shouldn't be so blasé about who we're supporting in politics. Because this isn't just some fun joke for chronically online people to make memes about. This could have real life consequences that could have after effects for years to come. Because what if she gets elected? What then? Are we really just gonna say, yes, queen, slay, to any other unqualified person that wants political power because they saw that Trisha Paytas could do it as well? Like, what if those fuck-ass incel male podcasters get this idea in their head as well? Or even one of the fucking Paul brothers. I don't want any of those people touching anything political with a 10-foot pole. I think these reactions people had to her announcement are just an example of a bigger problem that we're seeing online. People are getting desensitized to political scandals and real life tragedies. This combined with the rise of brain rot, declining attention spans, and the idea that being passionate or serious about something is just cringy and embarrassing has gotten us to a point that people online won't even take politics seriously. But also, like, if you look at the bullshit that's been happening in US politics, I also don't really blame people for not always being able to take it seriously, because, like, what the fuck else are you supposed to do when you hear the vice president has fucked a couch, or when the president himself looks like this? Besides that, though, I do think this idea of being nonchalant about everything has a lot to do with these type of reactions. Think of people saying, I don't need to know about that, I'm just a girl, or bruh, it's not that deep, when it actually, in fact, can definitely be that deep. We can't just swipe away from everything or think something isn't serious because we're not interested in it or it doesn't affect us personally. We also just can't keep saying that something isn't that deep simply because it clashes with your fave's behavior. We don't have to be defending everything a celebrity does. I know you've probably heard this a lot, but our focus on making everything entertainment and our rush to find the next dopamine hit while scrolling is just slowly decaying our critical thinking skills and our media literacy. Not everything can be funny or pushed into an 8-second clip or be made into content in the first place. Stay with me here, but take protesting for example. To some, it seems to have become more about making it a spectacle for content than actually just showing dissent and disagreement with whatever they are demonstrating against. Of course, it's great that people are showing up in the first place, but it also just kind of shows how centered around entertainment we have become, no matter how serious something is in real life. And I'm not saying I have all the answers for this. Believe me, I am not informed enough to even know where to begin with that. But even I can see that whatever is happening currently just isn't enough. There are so many different ways people are trying to protest, which just shows how passionate so many people are. But we are seemingly just not able to get behind one movement and sticking with it. It's as if every week people find new things to add to this ever-growing boycott list, instead of focusing on a few hard-hitting targets. It's more about showing you're informed about every minute discrepancy than actually focusing on getting real change to occur. There's also just some people who seem to want to protest only in ways that aren't too inconvenient for themselves. For example, think of people who boycott specific stores for like a weekend. They will post the end date online before the boycott has even started, which inevitably just informs companies to prepare for a few days of lower income. Afterwards, they're just gonna go back to whatever they were doing before. Because of course, longer is just simply not possible. It's a privilege to be able to boycott places like Target. Don't you see? Getting these overpriced items is simply a necessity. Whatever shall we do without our daily Target run? Go to Walmart? Our local grocery store? That's absolutely impossible. Who do you think we are, you motherfucker? And this low effort or engagement focused way of dealing with serious topics isn't just something only the general public does either. Unfortunately, politicians are getting involved with this kind of behavior as well. The White House is making edits of people being violently deported. There's that useless Doge department that's literally named after a meme. And we got Gavin Newsom tweeting like Trump and sharing AI pictures. It's just insane to me how normalized it's become for elected officials and entire political parties to act like idiots. Because it's not just the current administration and that nasty rotting tangerine that's doing all of this. It's also the official TikTok account of the Democratic Party. Why are y'all making edits of Trump? Why are we memifying war crimes and the evidence files? Why are we quoting Pop Crave? Just in general, why are the Democrats putting money into hiring somebody to downplay these issues through brain rot instead of actually doing something about it? Are engagement and views that much more important than actually just working for the people? We need to stop acting like these things are trivial enough to make memes about while they're still actively happening. Don't get me wrong, just like anybody else, I love a good 9/11 meme. But that's something that has happened 25 years ago, and people have had time to reflect and process that event. That's not the case for what's currently affecting us. We shouldn't be having politicians who are supposedly against Trump downplaying his actions through memes and so normalizing that behavior as well. It's as if these politicians think it's okay to just not take these issues seriously at all, and that we should just focus on making edits instead of trying to enact actual change. How did we even get here? We were talking about Trisha. I hate talking about politics. I'm not well spoken enough to bring across my thoughts in like a critical manner. My brain is just too slow for that. I don't know. I just think it's really important for people to realize that we can't just be so limited edition Dubai chocolate labubu about politics. Being famous or entertaining or funny or an internet icon or whatever shouldn't be the sole reason why you want to support somebody getting any sort of political power over your life. Politicians shouldn't have fans in the first place. They're not supposed to be held at the same regard as like celebrities or influencers. They need to be held accountable, and not in a way where James Charles can do all that weird shit and still have a successful makeup brand. These people work for us. We shouldn't be praising their every move without thought, like how that happens in fan bases like that of Trisha Paytas. If Trisha actually started putting effort into this and started talking about other issues she wants to run on, that would be fine. It would at least show that she's putting real thought into it and that it isn't just some throwaway idea that she wants to manifest. But instead we just get her telling us that she got this idea from a vision in between whatever other topic pops into her head that she wants to talk about. Take MatPat, for example. It's still a wild concept that the MPreg FNAF guy has gone into politics, but at least he's serious about it and he came in with a cohesive plan from the start. To be fair to Trisha, I do really think her idea of changing the legal age to participate in adult content to 25 and older is a solid proposition. It is clearly a topic she is passionate about and something she has actually put some thought into. She also has had personal experience and probably still knows people who work in that industry who can back up her claims. And that, combined with the fact that she has such a big following, would give her a good chance to get a policy reform about this implemented without trying to get into Congress first. So, TLDR, please go register to vote if you haven't yet. Even the midterms are important, even if the US media doesn't make as big of a spectacle of it as the presidential elections. Trisha is right when she says we have the power to change how this country is run, and that we should not lose hope for a better future. Hopecore! I'll have a link about voter registration in my description, as well as one to an article on change.org about how to change laws as everyday citizens, if you're interested in that. Besides that, let's just not elect somebody just because they're iconic. Let's just use our thinking caps for a second when it comes to politics, please. Because it's more than just a viral internet moment that will be forgotten about in a few weeks. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you're manifesting in 2026. I'm manifesting that I can focus more on art, eat a lot of good cheese, and maybe have a crumb of inner peace by the end of the year. Anyway, please like, comment, and subscribe if you want to, only if you want to. Also, please go vote, please. It's really important that you go do that. Bye!
Okay, what?
Yeah.